Hello, Sam here. How are we all doing? Hope we're all doing very well. I'm afraid there's no funky shirt this time. It's back to the standard, boring, dull shirt. Who knows? Next video, your luck might be in, and I might pull out a funky shirt again. You just never know. Keep you all on your toes. Keep you all guessing. Right, I just wanted to jump on here and talk about just generic things with OCD, really. Nothing in particular, just to talk to you guys and just to speak about some of the things that happened along my journey, how I overcame them, and just things that I think that will help and that you can relate to. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about when we're doing well and all of a sudden, boom, we're hit with a trigger. Okay, now what can happen when we're hit with a trigger is that we're so consumed with how we're feeling or what we're triggered by that we're not focusing on how we overcome that. Okay, we go into a self-pity trap. We go into, oh, fuck, I was doing so well. Where has this trigger come from? I thought I was recovered. I thought I was cured. All the things that we tell ourselves along the journey. Okay, so when that happens, how do we deal with it? All right, so immediately we don't do anything. Okay, you're not sprinting to dispute. You're not shouting at the thought. You're not trying to neutralize the thought, however uncomfortable that may be. So let me just give an example of where it would hit me with a thought out of nowhere and I'd feel like I'd spiral, go back to square one. So let's say during intimacy, okay, a big one of mine, having thoughts during then, really unwanted thoughts, and it would just throw me off guard, send me down the rabbit hole, feeling, why is that coming then? That's going to completely ruin the moment, completely ruin the intimate moment. And that's it, I can't concentrate, I can't focus, I've got to run from the thought, I've got to run from my brain, I've got to confess, I've got to seek reassurance immediately. I can't possibly sit with the uncomfortable feeling that comes with that. Okay, so when that happens, what do we do? Well, we don't do anything. Okay, what that does and what that did to me is that it built my frustration tolerance. The OCD is going to dig its heels in when you're doing better. It's going to try and keep you latched. It's going to try and keep you on your toes, and it's going to try and to grip onto something and just hit you off guard, okay? Hit you by surprise. That's what it would do. Now, when I changed the mindset to, okay, let's not just look at what I'm triggered by. Let's just not concentrate on how I'm feeling. Let's look at what that trigger highlights to me, okay? What does that trigger show I need to work on still? So let's say irrational beliefs. Or I'll give you another few examples. So I'm going along, going about my day, going all right. Let's say I'm going to work or going to a football match, going out with friends, going to the shops. I'm out driving, say. And then all of a sudden, driving OCD, hit and run OCD, whatever you want to call it, boom, straight in there. Was you a bit too close to that cyclist? Was you a bit too close to that pedestrian? Did you bump into that car? Did you nearly cause an accident? All these things that can happen as you're driving. All right, just hit you off guard when you least expect it. Now that highlights to me, there's obviously still underlying beliefs there that I need to work on. But that is the disputing work that we do later. That's not immediate disputing, okay? When that would happen, so I've gone off on the dispute a bit. When that would initially happen, that thought at that time, I would ensure that I'm not then performing a compulsion, okay? Now, however gripping that does feel, I know it feels utterly gripping, it feels totally convincing, and it feels as real as it can bloody get. I completely appreciate that. If it didn't feel as that real, it wouldn't be the disorder that it was, okay? It feels so real, it feels like it can't possibly be anything else. OCD has latched me there. I have to do something, I have to do something in the now. I can't possibly sit with that, whether that's looking in the rearview mirror, whether that's asking the question to the person in the passenger seat. Was I a bit too close to that person? All right, all these things that we know too well. And it's so easy to fall into that trap. All right, so the biggest thing was resisting that, no matter how I felt. All right, and that was so fucking challenging. At times I felt, look, I've got to confess here. I don't want the football match I'm going to this evening ruined. I don't want this meal that I can't even eat the fucking food because I'm that consumed by the anxiety or the guilt or the ruminating about that act or about that event. I have to get it off my chest. I have to seek reassurance. I have to Google. Now I know how that feels. Utterly convincing. I appreciate that. But If we're resisting the compulsions, if we're resisting seeking reassurance, we're taking a massive step forward. You've got to remember that. All right. And you're not going to feel like doing that. Although you're going to know it's going to be beneficial towards your recovery long term, in the short term, you're going to do anything to get rid of that feeling. You're going to do anything to get rid of feeling like shit, and you're just going to want relief straight away. You're going to want that instant, immediate relief. Something I know all too well. Okay. Then later, when I say later, it's not just, that's just a broad term, but when you can, and if it does remain latched, that is when we dispute our rational beliefs. All right? We don't go, as soon as we get home, boom, get all on paper, I need to dispute this, okay? We need to learn to sit with that uncomfortable feelings and build our frustration tolerance. And then if it remains latched, feels like you are really, really stuck, you can then break down your beliefs. We can look at booking one-to-ones, webinars, or watching videos on this YouTube channel and see what can really help, all right? But soon as you get triggered, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do a handstand. You don't have to whack your wrist. You don't have to scream and shout, okay? What I'm saying is you don't have to do anything when that triggers, okay? Just resist the compulsions. All right, I just want to talk about, like I said at the start of the video, it's quite random what I'm talking about, but just generic tips that I think can just help you along the way. All right, there's no set way to recover from OCD. All right, you don't walk into your first one-to-one session and get given an instruction booklet like you're building an IKEA wardrobe. That's not how it works. You're not following, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, this is step 4, and step 5, you're having your recovery party, and that's it. You're dancing down the street doing handstands, celebrating. And now, sorry to break the news to you, but that's not how that works, all right? But what am I getting to at that point? I'm getting to that people can guide you, so people can encourage you. People that have suffered very similar themes, gone through the suffering, gone through the experience, can of course motivate you or give you that motivation, give you that encouragement, give you that guidance, give you that advice. But only you sat there watching this video, is going to recover yourself. Only you can put the work in, okay? No matter what someone's going to tell you, I could tell you the same thing a million times. I could do a video every day on this channel and tell you the exact same message each time. But if you didn't go away and actually put the work in, it would mean fuck all, I'm afraid. It ain't going to get you anywhere. All right, so it's down to you to put the work in. You've got to be committed. You can't just go in half-heartedly with OCD. Okay, OCD is a very resilient, and it's the robust recovery that you need. It's not just boom and then that's it, it's done. It's going to take time. It's a gradual process, and it's down to you, I'm afraid, okay? No one else. Not your friends, not your coach, not your family, not your parents. No one is going to get you recovered other than yourself. All right, a key point to remember. Another point that is gonna throw at you is gonna throw a lot of curveballs along the way. All right, a big one of mine. It latched on to the tools that you were learning. All right, it's a little bugger like that. It's very crafty. Okay, what it's gonna do is it's gonna latch to things. It's gonna doubt everything, absolutely everything. So I could be reading an Albert Ellis book. All right, and it could chuck in the most ridiculous things when I look back now. And it would go, all right then, Albert Ellis doesn't have OCD, so that means it doesn't matter for me. That means I'm the exception. Him over there who's recovered from it, but he's different, okay? He doesn't have OCD, I do. Things like that it'd be chucking in. Or just any of the books on the reading list, or anything that I'm reading, or any bit of encouragement that I'm getting. It's like, no, they don't get it. I'm the exception. Mine's real. You don't understand it. Getting quite frustrated and getting quite angry because you don't get me, blah, blah, blah. That self-pity trap that I knew all too well. Now, what you've got to remember there is our journeys are going to be similar, but not identical. It's not exact. Right, Sam, you have POCD, you have harm OCD, you have red event OCD, so that means I've got to follow your exact steps. I've got to do the same amount of disputing to you to the exact minute. I've got to do the exact same exposures as you. I've got to read the same books as you. I've got to read same amount of pages. You know how OCD goes. You know how exact and how black and white and how rigid it can be. All right, because we're so desperate for that relief. We're so desperate for that certainty and that guarantee that we're going to recover. So you're thinking, all right, he's recovered, so I've got to follow his exact steps. No, that's not how it works. OCD is going to dig its heels in there. If you're so desperate for recovery, it's going to dig its heels in. It's going to have a tantrum. It's going to throw its toys out the pram. Okay, a key thing to remember. All right, another one. Please stop comparing yourself to other, well, I know it links into the point I've just said, but stop comparing yourself to other people. And what I mean by that is people with other themes, or something I'm guilty of doing that. So when I was suffering really bad with POCD, I couldn't see how any other theme was as bad as POCD. So I'd see someone with relationship OCD, or contamination OCD, sensory motor OCD, and I go, look, I'd do anything for your theme now. You don't understand what it's like to have POCD, blah, blah, blah. Remember, it's OCD, it's latching on to what you fear, okay? Whatever you fear the most is going to uproot that, and it's going to make it feel as real as that can possibly get. It's a key thing to remember. Now, how I can disprove that theory of, or that fear is worse than that one, is because when I first learned about sensory motor OCD, how that felt when that originally latched, when it's suddenly about my sensations, I remember swallowing and blinking, a big one. I thought, fuck, I want POCD back now. That I could deal with that. Now I can't deal with this. It's how crafty it can move around. It can move so quickly, it can maneuver, and then utterly within a matter of milliseconds convince you that you want your old theme back. The new one you got is real. That's it. You can't cope with it. You're the exception. Blah blah blah. These ways that OCD is gonna try and keep you in its grip. It's gonna move the goalposts, and it's gonna nestle just out of reach. All right, so you're gonna feel like you're getting somewhere, and it's gonna find something else. All right, very crafty like that. It's not rocket science, but once you understand how OCD is gonna operate, it is one hell of a leap towards recovery and just getting better. And staying better. Okay, and just to round up this video, I'm going to go back to the point where I mentioned OCD digging its heels in. And so if you're setting funny enough, we spoke about on the real talk that we just did, that that is not a flick of the switch and you're recovered. So it's not like you start on level 1, it's not like a game where you go level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, hooray, recovered, and you'll arrange a massive recovery party, all go on the little drinking session, whatever, and dancing and high-fiving each other. That is not what happens. And I know that's quite an extreme, and I'm joking, but you don't just get to recovery and that's it, and it's cured and you never have it again. But if you're thinking like that, if you're setting a deadline on recovery and that is just a one goal and that's it, I want to recover, boom, then it's really going to dig its heels in, I'm afraid. And then setbacks will come, relapses will happen. Once I made peace that I could set back at any time, I could come off this video now and have the biggest relapse known to man. I've made peace with that. Okay, of course I wouldn't fucking like that. It'd be really unfortunate. And I'd hope I could have the tools. I hope I've got the inner framework to deal with it. But who knows? There's no guarantee there. I could be worse than what I was 5-6 years ago. All right, I had to make complete peace with that. And I'm not just saying that, I had to really embody that. I had to really feel that could happen. All right, I can't try and run away from that. Okay, it could catch me at any moment, and if it does, it does. Okay, not much more I can really say on that. You get what I'm trying to say. You get the gist. All right. I don't want to go on too long before you switch off and go and make a cup of tea, or go for a run, or go and watch a football. I don't want to go on too long. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I think I'll keep it about 14-15 minutes. If you have enjoyed the video, anything specific for me to make, or make the content on, or a specific topic, please leave a comment. I happily would. I know people have left comments on my previous videos. Don't worry, they will be made. It's not like it's just been ignored. I have got topics that I'm going to do, so don't worry about that. Any more, much appreciated. If you would like to book any one-to-one sessions, any webinars, please email phil@ocdrecovery.com. If you have liked this video, please do leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, what the hell are you doing? Please do so, that would be amazing. Anyway, you take care, have a lovely rest of the day, evening, wherever you are in the world. And just remember, you have got this. There is so much hope out there. I have been in your shoes where utterly hopeless, can't go on, nothing else matters, the chronic guilt 24/7, you feel like there's no hope, and everything's just a waste of time. All right, there's so much hope, and you have got this. Anyway, you take care. Bye bye.